Alright, Riven mod. So this one is a bit interesting. It says you have to kill 5 Dargyn pilots before they hit the ground. And I'm gonna explain this one a little bit. I've already primed it, so I'm at 4 to 5, so I just need to do one more. This is probably pretty frustrating to a lot of people, because you do a lot of, kill a lot of Dargyns and it doesn't count. You don't understand why it doesn't count. And there are a couple of guides out there, and, even when you look at those guide videos where people do different versions, like using Nova or Titania or whatever, you can tell that, they shoot Dargyn pilots, and sometimes it counts and sometimes it doesn't, and you sort of don't really understand why. I'll explain why, and then you can sort of fiddle around with it yourself, because, I'm going to show you how to do this with Equinox, because I always use Equinox if I can use Equinox, and the reason why people sort of don't get through this one when they get stuck is the idea is that you have to kill the Dargyn pilot while it's not on the Dargyn. If you shoot it while it's on the Dargyn and both the Dargyn and the Dargyn pilot die at the same time, then that's not gonna count. So you have to sort of destroy the Dargyn without killing the Dargyn pilot. And then as the Dargyn pilot is falling to the ground, then you can kill him. One sort of issue a lot of people have with this is because they use weapons that have radial damage, or they use weapons that have punch through. So when you hurt the Dargyn, you hurt the Dargyn pilot at the same time. And that's why it doesn't work. So when you see guide videos with people using Nova and Molecular Prime, that they don't really sort of understand themselves why it sometimes works and why it doesn't. And the reason why is the enemies get slowed down. So it's easier to sort of pick out the shot and whatever. But I'm gonna demonstrate an even easier way of doing it. And we're gonna do this with a Sleep Equinox. And the reason why is because that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna first shoot the Dargyn and destroy it without killing the pilot. Perfect. And then as the pilot is falling to the ground, that's when we kill him. And this might sound tricky, but it doesn't, because you know what sleep does? It actually makes Dargyns stand perfectly still, mid-air. Absolutely still, which is kind of fun. So now he's in the air, now we can do this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait for them to sort of start flying and then sleep. See that? I've slept him. So now he's just gonna sleep. And while he's doing that, I can sort of pick my shot and make sure that I only hit the very bottom of the Dargyn and don't touch the pilot. I'm using a weapon that does not have any punch through or radial damage with the normal attack. And then as the pilot is falling to the ground, I just pick him off. And that's how you do it. So you don't have to use an Equinox. It's just Equinox is easy because you can just make him stand perfectly still in the air. So it's very easy to line up the shot. But that's why it sometimes works and why it sometimes doesn't work. So now you know. Now you know what you're supposed to do in this challenge to make it a bit easier on yourself. It's not as hard as you think. Some people are talking about having to shoot 200 Dargyns or so before they got enough to count. Use this method and every single one will count. It's 100% success rate. You'll have it done in a minute or so, if you have an Equinox. Alright, let's see what we got. We got... Oh! Paris. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's got maximum Riven disposition, so it's very strong. But oh well. That's a Riven mod.